that would've been sick. Chad, is this impressive? All these headshots or nah? Dude, you get a lot of ammo in T-Hut. I have over 100 bullets. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is free to play and oh, is it? Pretty cool. That's one. Yo, can you still get on top of the shark? I remember Microwave was like, bro, everyone's gonna be on the shark. Like, dude, this spot is not gonna be a thing. You're still vulnerable?
Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
Okay, comrade, brother. Thank you, J Blubs, for the 100 bits. Oh, FBI SWAT. So what's meta now, chat? R4C or G36C? Or are we just playing IQ now? What's the meta play? I don't even know, because I've been seeing a lot of G36Cs out there. But at the same time, I've been seeing a lot of hollow R4Cs. Aw, that was potato. I hate that they stop shooting at you when you shoot them. Kind of makes it like, meh. I guess that's what is it, veteran is for? F2 is not pussy. Yeah, that's true. True little W. Fuck it. What are the odds that that's reinforced? I think we have checked the motel. Dude, this is so fast when you're Ash. No, we did check that. What the hell? Whoa, 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 whoa!
All friendlies have been eliminated.
Alright, jumping in the middle, that was not the play. Oh, well, he did the challenge. Failure. They make you feel so bad. Why do they make you feel so bad? Yeah, Oregon Basement is a ripperoni chat. F in the chat for Oregon Basement. You know, a lot of pros hate Oregon, from my understanding.
eliminate all of the terrorists.
I guess I'm not surprised because Oregon's kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's nothing you can do new on Oregon. Everything's been done. The only hope for Oregon is like a new game changing up. Like Mirror was big for Oregon. That was big. I thought Kayed would actually. Kayed did a really good job changing the meta for Oregon a bit. But I feel like because everyone just takes Thatcher, so it completely counters him. So it's almost pointless. It's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Think about that. Kayed is a huge game changer in Oregon, but if you just take Thatcher, it completely counters it entirely. So it's like all Kayed does is force a pick on Thatcher. Kind of, right? So in a way he's kind of useless, but if they don't pick Thatcher, he's god tier. I don't know. That's kind of, isn't it? I don't know how I feel about that, because it's either he's completely useless or he influences the entire round. I don't know. How do you feel about that, chat? Making them take other utility off the board? I guess, but is that trade-off really worth it? Because you yourself are not bringing any utility in that, because it's getting countered. So you can't say that attackers are losing utility because you're also losing utility. No? You know what I mean? In cancer meta it could be worth. I mean, there is no cancer meta anymore. Give him 3 claws instead of 2. 3 is, I think, OP. 3 is OP in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that. I think 6 walls was too much. They did 3 initially when he first came out on the test server, but 6 walls is too much in my opinion. That's way too much denial. The thing is, because he has an AoE, it's like, I feel like there's no middle ground. Like, 2 claws feels a little light, but 3 claws feels a little too much. And it's just because he could reinforce 2 walls at a time. It's easy. It was easy with Bandit. Bandit used to have 3 batteries. They buffed him to 4.
Hostiles remaining.
Anything about Nomad's Claymore being removed? I think it's fair. I don't know how I don't know. It's kind of weird because you could well, actually, okay, so the reason they gave her Claymore in the first place was because she was able to take flashes, burn the ADS, and then shoot air jabs into sight. And this was a huge problem because before she didn't have that delay on her gadget, so people were able to clear ADS and shoot the air jab into sight. And that was a big problem. I don't think it's much of a problem anymore, necessarily, because she has that delay on the timer, so if she shoots it in sight, you could just shoot the air jab. It's really best used as a flank watch or for runouts. So I think it's fair, I guess, that she has the flashes again. Because Claymore was too much flank watch. It was way too much flank watch utility. Although I loved it. A lot of fun. I'll be right back, chat. 1 sec. Chat, have you seen the new Maverick bundle? Tell me this isn't the coolest. I wish that Maverick was launched like this. Boom. Simple, clean. He has army written all over him. I mean, not literally, but... I think this is so cool. I wish it was released like this. It's simple. I feel like Ubi kind of feels pressured to make the characters stand out and look really unique. And I feel like this might not really allow him to stand out. But I love this. I'm a fan of just simple, realistic looking uniforms. I would prefer this as a... I wish this was default, personally. That's just me. It looks so cool! And yeah, check out the woodland gun skin it came with. Another... I like it. I have a problem with the other ones. The previous ones, because it's just one skin plastered... Like, look at this. It's just like the whole skin is plastered with this paint. No attention to detail, and that's why I don't like these skins. But if you look at this one, the new one, it actually takes into consideration the grip, the buttstock, the barrel. It looks realistic. I love it for that reason. It actually takes attention to detail. Oh look, is that the grip where you hold it? I thought you're not supposed to hold it by the magazine. That's what everyone says. I mean, I guess you're not holding it by the magazine, you're holding it by this. Oh yeah, I wanted to see this video, by the way. I just saw this on Twitter.
What's up, guys?
I didn't get to watch it. So this is like a history of Rainbow Six Siege's development. Shout out to Rogue9. I hope you're okay with me watching this. But I kind of wanted to watch this.
Rogue9 here, and in today's
I saw this at
video,
Invitational.
I want to take you on a little journey back through
like
time,
early prototype
back to the
footage.
earliest development stages of Rainbow Six Siege, up to 3 years before the actual launch of the game, and I want to explore how the early designs and core concepts for the game translated.
Dude, look at this!
into the
Defenders are
experience
outside.
we're all familiar with now.
Oh
So get
my
your popcorn
God.
ready, make yourselves comfortable, and let's go.
Running out and C4ing people like that.
Rainbow Six Siege. We say that name nowadays often without thinking too much about how it gives us an indication of one of the 4 core principles that have underpinned the game since its very inception: the siege. The concept of 2 opposing forces going to battle in and around a fortified structure.
This was the
One
image they
team
used to pitch the
reinforcing and
idea.
defending from within, the other breaching those defenses from the outside. This was the founding principle behind the latest installment in the Rainbow Six series. Details of the concept of a siege and how it would be realized within a first-person shooter game were captured as early
Barb
as
used to be OP
January
as fuck.
2013, as can be seen in some of the handwritten developer notes captured by creative director Xavier Marquis at the time. The ideas that defenders should be able to reinforce doors and windows, that barbed wire could be used as an internal obstacle, and that there should be 2 types of wall, destructible and indestructible, all originated at the very beginning of the development process. The idea of deployable cover within the buildings was another cornerstone of the defense that was envisioned from the very beginning of the project. Wait a minute. Is that a concept drawing of a pixel peak? Toxic. Nevertheless, this early idea made it into the game as the deployable shields that we have all been familiar with for the last 3 years
You
now.
see the barricades?
But
They're like
there
meant
were
for
also
spawn
some really
peeking.
early defensive ideas that did not make it into the launch version of the game. Concept art and animated clips show off an ambitious idea for a dynamic reinforcement system that included the use of movable furniture as barricades, as
Imagine.
well as an outrageous notion that buildings in Rainbow Six Siege would actually have doors, and that these doors could be reinforced with gadgets and even furniture.
Imagine doors. Ah, defensive maverick to seal the door. I don't think that would work really, chat. I don't think you could weld two doors together.
These complex concepts were quickly swept aside though, and the design reverted to the much simpler and more elegant solution of using wooden barricades for doorways and
they all
windows
hatches.
and metal reinforcements for breachable walls. Once the ideas for these systems were finalized on paper, the animations were motion captured, and it is amazing to see these movements that we all know so well from the in-game operators performed in real life.
Action.
Oh shit!
Allez, position et action. Action.
That's awesome, man. Oh, the reinforcement. Oh yeah, he didn't even use his foot.
But reinforcing for defenders represents only half of the mechanics that would be required to fulfill the core premise of recreating a siege. The attacking team would need the tools and abilities to overcome these obstacles thrown at them by the defenders. In parallel to the concepts for reinforcements, the Rainbow Six dev team
Imagine you could
began
just
to
throw a
design
breaching
breach
charge at the
mechanics
wall.
that would round out the gameplay experience. Very early on, while the ideas of using furniture and blocking doors were still on the table, counterplay options for the attacker team were also being considered, but once the decision was made to keep reinforcing simple and straightforward, the attacking options could be simplified at the same time. Attackers would be able to melee or shoot their way in through barricaded doorways and windows. They were able to use explosives on barricades and soft walls.
Imagine
and
Ash could
shield
just make a hole
operators,
anywhere.
with the help of a teammate, would be able to run straight through soft walls and wreak havoc on the other side. Please note that not all of these early concepts made it into the final version of the game. And maybe that's a good
Imagine.
thing. Shields are quite controversial at the moment anyway, and now imagine them bursting through an unreinforced wall right in front of you. Another early idea that ended up being dropped was persistent damage, the idea that map destruction would carry over from round to round.
What?
I personally think
Imagine.
that it makes sense for this idea to have been scrapped.
I wouldn't want that.
How is it supposed to work when the teams switch sides? Does the team that attacks in round 2 get to take advantage of the breaches
That's the
made by
Ubisoft
the
studio.
other team beforehand? And if the damage
recreated
to
the
the map
studio.
is persistent, then how can operators that were
Destroyed it.
killed in round 1 come back to fight on the same map again? In my opinion, permanent destruction would have been hard to justify both from a realism perspective as well as balancing perspective, but do feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you have liked to see this mechanic make it into the game?
Definitely not.
One last early idea that ended up not making it into the game on launch is showcased as a bit of a side note in the destruction concept footage, and it almost flies under the radar. As early back as December 2013, there were already plans to potentially include claymores in the game as defender weapons, but of course these gadgets were not implemented until the mid-season reinforcements patch during Operation Skull Rain, almost 1 year after the release
And people
of the game,
found
and as we all
the audio
know,
files,
they're being used by
the Claymore.
attackers now. Besides the core concept of recreating a siege in a
I remember
modern
that.
tactical shooter, there are 3 other concepts that Rainbow Six Siege was founded on: intel, tactical movement, and a hero character concept to enforce tight team play and communication. Intel as a fundamental design concept of Rainbow Six Siege was part of the discussion from the very beginning of the project and was eventually broken down into 2 different topics: audio and visual intel. Some of the earliest concept footage for the game actually still includes a minimap system wherein each player would be able to see the positions of themselves, their teammates, and the objective once discovered. Every teammate, camera, or drone also had a cone of vision that would automatically mark enemy players on the minimap as long as they were in view, and would leave behind a red question mark for
Thank
enemies
God
that
that's
were
not
no
in the
longer
game.
view. This system was dropped rather quickly though, and to me this once again makes perfect sense because a live minimap would have caused all kinds of problems in a game with destructible walls. Imagine playing Siege but the enemy knows exactly where you are at all times. Preposterous. And so this crude and overpowered system gave way to far subtler ideas. Sound was always envisioned as being an important source of information in Siege, with a strong ambition.
The fact that they
creating
thought
a
of sound
detailed system
propagation
of realistic sound propagation. Sound
is brilliant.
should be conveyed to the player not just in terms of the position of the source, but also taking into consideration any obstacles that would block or redirect the passage of sound. This lofty objective has always been a polarizing topic because, as awesome as it is to have a detailed system such as this, it has also always caused a significant amount of confusion among newer players. Hearing an enemy approaching from the left because of an open doorway or breach when the player is actually straight ahead can be really counterintuitive for new players. And then, of course, there is
sound
also the
propagation,
issue
yeah,
that the
it's absolutely
complexity of
brilliant.
this sound system makes it difficult to maintain.
You
and
can't have
sadly,
this
the
game
last
any other
few
way.
Seasonal updates in Year 3 and going into Year 4 have come with significant sound issues. Hopefully, future seasons will bring us more reliable sound and the game will return to the form
Is that
it
Hereford
deserves
base?
to be in.
It's Hereford base, right?
But sound is only one part of the intel concept
This looks
in
like
Rainbow
Hereford.
Six Siege. During early development, 3 different forms of visual intel were being considered. A camera network with fixed and controllable cameras, a flying Scan Eagle drone that would provide a circling camera feed of the outside of the building, and player-operated ground-based drones.
Imagine
the Scan Eagle proved
defense
to be
had
not
like a
very
UAV.
useful as the game developed, and the idea was shelved, although in a way the concept did finally re-emerge as Lion's dreaded EE-1D drone. The other 2 concepts made it into the game, although both underwent some refinement. The early idea of using a mixture of static and rotating cameras was simplified into using just controllable
This would be
cameras,
so useless
but
for
that's
attack.
not really the most significant change in terms of the camera network. This single bullet point that was added to the concept sheet later on in a different color tells us that the cameras can be destroyed by the defenders. And at first this might seem odd. Why would the defenders want to destroy the cameras? The answer to that question becomes clear when we examine this early storyboard explaining the gameplay purpose of the camera network. The initial idea was that the cameras were not in fact used by the defenders, but that the attackers would be able to access it in order to gather information on the defensive setup. This initial idea kind of makes sense when you think back to previous Tom Clancy games in the Rainbow Six or
Thank you,
Splinter
Spoonman, for
Cell
the 7
series.
months.
You
Harry,
were
thank you for
always
the
able
8.
to gather info
Dark
on your
Shuffer, thank
opponents
you.
before beginning
Official
an
Pixel
attack.
Panda, thank you.
But of course,
Matthew
for
Gibbons.
Rainbow Six
Holy
Siege,
cow.
it became evident that this
you.
concept would not work.
What's up, man,
Making
now?
the cameras indestructible would give the attackers a huge advantage, but destructible cams would only act as a time waster for the defenders during the prep phase, forcing the team to run around the map, taking all of them out.
It would be pointless.
The decision to switch the cam network over to the defenders became a no-brainer and helped bring balance to the intel aspect of the game. Defenders have cameras, attackers have drones. The attacker drones also underwent significant refinement before the final launch of the game. For instance, initially drones were not supposed to be able to climb stairs while still being able to descend. And even more importantly, early designs for the drones envisioned them as being armed with explosive charges, incapacitating gas, or smoke. With the power of hindsight and the game now being more than 3 years old, it is easy to see that giving each and every drone those offensive capabilities would have been completely overpowered. But those ludicrous ideas weren't immediately squashed. Concept drawings show us the development of the drones into their final form, both in terms of additional abilities such as climbing stairs and jumping, as well as the development of their visual form. And as we can see here, these concept developments still included options like a flash ability, an electroshock
flash
ability
drone?
that would stun enemies, and also a smoke or gas ability. Luckily though, these oppressive concepts were retired well before the launch of the game, and most operators apart from Twitch, received an Intel-only version of the drone. Core
Yeah, good, thank
concept
you.
number
What's
3
up?
underpinning the gameplay experience of Rainbow Six Siege is the movement. The idea was to create a movement system that felt somewhat heavy and deliberate compared to other games at the time, with highly nuanced movement abilities depending on the situation that your character was
every
currently
little
in.
detail
Whether this goal was
is thought
achieved
of.
in the final version of the game is debatable,
What?
especially with the rise of the 3-speed meta over the years, but there was one unique aspect of the character movement that was seen as vital by the developers in terms of distinguishing Rainbow Six Siege from other
What?
first-person
Imagine
shooters,
that's your job.
and that was the ability for attackers to rappel up and down the outside of buildings. Great attention was paid to the implementation of this system. The devs worked with external consultants who had military and law enforcement backgrounds to ensure that the repelling movements were captured in a way that was realistic but at the same time fulfilled the functional needs of the player in-game. And finally, last but certainly not least, there is the fourth pillar upon which Rainbow Six Siege was founded. A hero system with unique operators that all bring different utility and weapon loadouts to the team and who only have one life throughout each
That's
round.
fire.
Interestingly though, this core feature of the game was not planned from the very beginning of the development process. Early designs for the game featured a class-based character system and mid-round respawns. The video in the background shows off an early internal Rainbow Six Siege dev team tournament that features both of these concepts in a match taking place on a pre-alpha prototype of the Hereford map. Not long after this early playtest and esports proof of concept event, the decision was made that respawning has no place in Rainbow Six Siege. Having only one life would increase the tactical realism, force the player to think and make the operator gadgets more useful, improve the narrative of the class system, and transform all game modes into quasi-team deathmatch, the most popular game mode in the world. Or at least that was the assumption back in 2014. Battle Royale games hadn't really hit the mainstream back then yet. So respawns are off the table, but at this stage, the class system is still very much part of Rainbow Six Siege.
Bro, did that flash break the wall?
Xavier concept sheets we saw earlier lists initial ideas for 3 different classes for the attacking and defending teams respectively, including Assault, Tactical Assault, Support, and Sniper classes. Later designs had been more refined, with the attacking team featuring the Assaulter, Point Man, and Sniper classes, while the defenders could pick from the Trapper, Protector, and Blocker. Each class distinguished itself along a variety of different stats, such as primary and secondary weapons, armor class, movement
Thank you,
primary and secondary
Nader. Holy shit! I didn't even do anything! I just sat here, watched the video. Thank you, Nader. Thank you.
System over to a hero-based system where every
Thank you so much.
comes with
Ferris, thank you as well.
strategic abilities
Nader.
that help to reinforce cooperation and team play. Xavier Marquis outlined his
Thank you so
vision
much.
for the creation of believable heroes in this rule sheet. The key question was, how do we create hero powers without them being negatively affected by the established universe of Rainbow Six as a realistic military shooter series, but also without breaking that universe? The idea was that on a sliding scale from realistic to magic, the central part, rather dramatically referred to as the Black Zone, should be avoided at all costs, and this principle led to 3 rules for the creation of heroes. And I do want to take a moment to quickly go over these rules, because the topic of realism in Rainbow Six Siege has been a recurring discussion point within the game's community. So rule number 1, powers may be derived from believable reality. Rule number 2, powers can be derived from magic as long as they conform to universal gameplay conventions. And rule number 3, never justify in-game magic.
Dude, the old barricades look sick.
Explanations within the Siege universe. If magic, such as respawns, is already accepted by the players by universal convention, then trying to explain this magic is unnecessary and only endangers the game's realistic foundations as a tactical shooter. An example for gameplay magic that would not be acceptable in Rainbow Six Siege is given as an energy force field. This mixture of magic and reality would take the game beyond the intended technological universe. An example provided to explain acceptable magic are respawns. Of course, there are no respawns in real life, but when it comes to video games, they are simply accepted as a gameplay element without requiring an explanation, and are therefore believable, especially in a multiplayer setting. So this basically boils down to...
Bro, imagine trying to put a deployable shield down mid-fight.
No magic, no sci-fi, unless it is part of generally accepted video games convention. And of course, as we all know, this rule has not really stood the test of time. You could argue that Frost, Buck, Valkyrie, Blackbeard, Capitao, and even Caveira are sort of realistic and believable, but by the end of year 1, we already saw Hibana and Echo added into the game.
Tabwire.
Gadgets are pretty sci-fi.
Chat, Tabwire is the guy who makes R6 Tab
Came around during
website.
season 1 of
Thank you,
year
man.
2.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Requirements had been totally scrapped, and we got Jackal, who has a visor that can scan colored footprints off of the ground, which will then reveal the identity and current location.
Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Demigod, thank you.
Yeah, I believe that Jackal would definitely
Laparty
fall
Gaming,
into
thank
the
you for the
category
3
of
months.
what Xavier Marquis had originally
Thank you,
labeled
man.
as
That's a big tip.
unacceptable
I appreciate
magic.
it.
But to be fair, even some of the launch operators are probably already beyond the realm of reality. You could argue that both IQ with her Spectre electronics detector, and certainly Thatcher with his handheld EMP grenades, already fell into the black zone.
Are EMP grenades not a real thing?
Terrifying and deadly space between magic and reality. And even though this rule
Wait,
was
are EMPs not a real
I think
thing?
it's remarkable
EMP
how Xavier
grenades?
was able to predict
No?
the reaction of the Rainbow Six
What are you talking
fans.
about?
The
They're in every
fact
video
is that
game.
over the years, there have been a lot of players that were pretty upset and disappointed about the fact that sci-fi gadgets and abilities were added into the game. But sci-fi or not, imagine if the early concept of a class-based system had stayed in the game. Imagine if we didn't have unique operators with unique gadgets and weapons and background stories. I think it is safe to say that Rainbow Six Siege would have been quite a different game. And I think it is also arguable that I would not be making this video right now and you wouldn't be watching it because none of us
True.
would be playing Siege anymore. Maybe many of you who
True.
joined the game at the end of year 1 or in year 2 or 3 would never have played it in the first place. Without the seasonal rhythm to Rainbow Six Siege, with 2 new operators being introduced 4 times a year, I highly doubt that the game could have been as successful as it has been, both in terms of attracting a significant
Dude, imagine the
player base
lighting was
as
like
well
this
as terms
in
of
the
becoming
actual
a
game.
successful
Everyone would be
esport.
so mad.
I suppose that CSGO managed
Is
to
that a
achieve
PP?
all of these goals without a hero system, so maybe Siege could have done the same? I guess we'll never know. And that concludes our little trip back
It
through
is!
time, exploring how the 4 core concepts of the game, the principle of the siege, was
God, the Ubi devs is so
reaching,
toxic.
the focus
Drawing
on
peepees
intel,
on the wall.
the unique movement including repelling, and the hero system, how all of these concepts were established throughout the
Imagine
game's
if
development
defenders
process,
shot the
and how
hostage,
the unique
you had to
combination of these fundamental ideas
revive him?
brought us the game we have today. If you want to see more Rainbow Six videos, go ahead and click the playlist in the top left-hand corner now. If you want to see something different, maybe my recent video on the top 10 Easter eggs
Good
in
video.
Far Cry New Dawn will interest you. That's the video in the bottom left.
Good video. Shout out to Rogue9 chat, by the way. He does awesome stat videos. That was a good video. Alright. It was a good video. Alright. Did I do my challenges? Yo, chat, I saw on Reddit. Hold up a second. Hold up a second. I saw on Reddit. Did this not come out? I am Zephyr, thank you for the 2 months. What Wow Wolf, thank you for the 13 months. Thank you, thank you. Where is this? Check it out, look at this. News. Where's the Caveira bundle? I don't see it in the game. This is sick. I don't see this in the game. Did they not release it yet? I need that Caveira bundle. Bad. Bundles usually drop on Tuesday and Thursday. Ew, that skin? What? Bro, look at this. It's like a partial face reveal. I love it. It's so different. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I want that. I want it now. Alright, I gotta do another round of Vetsnaz. It did not go through Norts. You gotta... you might have to share it.
Eliminate the terrorists.
Oh no, I got iron sights. I have no idea, Leviex. I don't know when it's gonna be released. Even if I did know when it was gonna be released, I wouldn't be allowed to say it. Oh, he's lower. You know, I don't think anybody ever uses this car to traverse over here. I kind of forgot that this is a thing. Anybody forget that that's a thing, or just me? It's too risky to use it, so... Dude, this gun's actually insane. I feel like this LMG is underrated. Do I hit? He's outside!
Enemies remaining.
The heck? No, I don't think there's any bombers on Outback. Bro, where's this last guy?
Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
Think LMG is nuts? We did it! 100 renown! Yay! Louder? It's not even loud, it's the dock one that's loud. What side is attack? Blue, right? Or is it orange? I always forget. Blue? Ricky! 27 months. Thank you so much, Ricky. The Strange World, thank you for the 12 months. Kubi Kubi with the 5 months. Thank you. Bleeding Violet, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
They need to locate a bomb.
Ah, shit. I gotta fix the prep phase.
Your drone has found a bomb. Seconds to insertion. Insertion in 5 seconds. Proceed to bomb's location and defuse it.
I still have to shoot the cams. Alright. Now. Dude, this has 400 bullets? Holy shit. Alright, so where's the mirror? Start. I would say right there is a fair assessment, right? Is that fair? So what is this? Okay, so I think that's fair, right? So then, like right here, right?
We have been eliminated.
RIP Oregon basement chat. Namaste! Thank you for the 4-month resub. Thank you so much. Yeah, that site is dead, chat. That site is no more. Dude, that's gonna affect Pro League too. That's a big change for Pro League. I don't like how fast the fire propagates. I'm not a fan of how fast it propagates. I would like it. Okay, so my idea for Capital is to think of it like a bullseye system. So, oh, here I got my dry erase board. So imagine. Here we go.
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb.
All right, so imagine a top-down view.
Be advised your drone has located a bomb.
All right, here we go. So imagine this, a top-down view. Whoopsie. So top-down view, the X is the player, and then each ring represents the propagation of the fire. So you shoot it. This is my index finger, not my middle, by the way. It looks like the middle, right? Imagine you shoot perfectly. You start burning. Oh, here we go. So we can add to it. We can add to it. 100, maybe 75, and then 50. I don't know how they would do it. I don't know how the numbers would reflect. But so imagine this. You see how the fire propagates and expands into two different, it just expands larger and larger. I want them to time it so that the only way you're gonna kill somebody with a Capital bolt is if you hit them on the first propagation. After it expands, you do about 75 damage, and then on the third, you do 50. So say, instead, you have, imagine, you see how it killed me in the Oregon basement? Imagine you're standing here. Imagine the mirror is right here, you're standing here. The fire propagates all the way there. It does 50 damage. If you just stay at the far end of the Capital bolt. But it seems to kill you no matter where you are. Like, As long as you're in the fire, it will kill you. And I feel like at the second and third levels, because the range is so far, it should not kill you, just do a shit ton of damage. Like enough damage to make you want to get the hell out of there. But not enough to actually kill you. That way, it forces players to actually be accurate with their shots if they want to get kills. I still think it needs a little bit of tweaking, personally. But that's just me. Because it seems too strong. And I think if they just mess with the timing of how it expands, so say it stays short briefly, and then expands like 2 seconds later, and then another 2 seconds, it'll expand. Because right now, it takes 2 seconds to fully expand to the final form. Oh, the site's upstairs. So, I'm not a fan. Oh yeah, chat, check it out. It also doesn't, if it's affected by gravity now. So, see? It hit the chair.
You must recover the diffuser.
But based on the speed of players, it would have to propagate very fast if you're going to kill someone who is initially caught in the middle, and the damage reduces as it propagates.
Friendly, last operator standing.
The damage is not reduced as it propagates. You're thinking of smoke.
15 seconds. Located a bomb. 10 seconds.
The damage is always, what is it, like 10
4 eliminated all friendlies.
or 13 damage per tick every time? No, that's false. Or 12, yeah. So, I don't know. What's up, DJ H Gamer? How you doing? I don't know. I think Kappa is too strong. I feel like Capita is really hard to balance. I don't know. I really like the whole. I like my bullseye idea. Because the rage is just too much right now. But yeah, Mirror's dead. And the thing is, you see how it propagated all the way to the edge of the mirror in Oregon basement? It's like, you can't just stand there. Like, if you try to stand there and then leave, like, you have to leave right away. Because that third tier is gonna kill you.
Down to 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Like, if there's any chance to survive, you have to run immediately. You should plant the diffuser in the custom to see if she fully dies. I don't know what you mean. Plant the diffuser. What do you mean?
4, last operator standing.
At max range, we just tested it, Donor. It kills you at max range. If you're within the range at all, you will die.
Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
Lazarno Knight with the 8 months. Thank you, Lazarno. Wait, can I get that skin? Oh, I can't. Wait, so Capital's gun and Gridlock's gun are different?
We need to locate a bomb. Your drone has found a bomb.
Do I have plans to do an Easter egg hunt? No. I'm 28.
The diffuser has been
Jackal, thank you for the tier 1, and Revolution, thank you for the tier 1 as well. Did it. Dude, I can't believe this is still in the game. There's no way I'm the only one that gets triggered by this. I'd rather not have it at all. I think it literally lessens my enjoyment of the game. It would be better without it. Oh, this is an awkward challenge. Dude, this is sideways. I don't think I've ever killed anybody like this. It's so much easier to see inside at night. No, no, no.
4 last operator standing.
The hell's up with this window?
Online and active.
That's weird.
Op 4 eliminated.
Nick on Twitch with the Prime sub. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. Thank you. Once again, I appreciate you. Anybody on defense changed? No. What are your thoughts on the noise made by Nomad's air jab? So when I did a playtest of the air jab, it was way louder, like way louder. Like it was a noise you cannot miss, basically.
Protect
So I was surprised that they lowered the volume of it. But I think I see what they're coming from.
Wall fortified.
Did I reach it? I should reach it.
10 seconds left. Be advised, Op 4 has found a bomb.
Let me see a sub.
5 seconds.
I don't see it.
Bomb located by Op 4.
But thank you for the sub. I don't know how many months. It's not on my list. Bear Dog with the 200 bits I missed. Grim's 92. Lobster. Carry him. Busty Stepdad. Evian! How do I miss a 1,000-bit dono? Evian, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I hope you're still there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bleeding Violet with the prime. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Like, I can see shit. Oh, I couldn't see him. I hit her. It did 24 damage. Have a good one, Grims. Appreciate you stopping by.
Sledges and skylight.
Have a good one, Fernie. Actually, thank you for the tier 1 sub.
One friendly operator remaining.
How do I like the update so far? Bro, it's like a new season. I've been having a lot of fun with Lion.
All friendlies were eliminated.
Like a lot of fun. I feel way more proactive when I'm playing Lion than with the other one. I actually had somebody really mad at me for playing Lion yesterday, saying it's too strong.
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb.
Honestly, it's like Lion Scan is basically like a free droner, assuming they move. That's literally like he's just as strong as somebody droning you in and marking and giving you calls.
Drone has located a
It's
bomb.
literally the same thing. Yeah, Sergeant Pickles, that was yesterday was such a good day. Yesterday was just one of those days where everything's working out.
Seconds.
I don't know, I played so well.
The diffuser is
I love those days when literally everything you do just works.
location and defuse it.
It's my fave. Bum, 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 ba-da-na-na. Are they upper again? They upper. Do it, Clash. I dare you. No balls. She saw who it was and she backed off. You don't mess with the cap. Mess with the cap, you get the bag. I hate this. Look at this. If you're on this platform right here, you just automatically go down. Look, no hands. No hands.
Must recover the diffuser.
Not a fan.
Op 4 eliminated.
No Austin Android. Thank you for the 17-month resub. Appreciate it. Oh, I gotta fix my cap. My cap is default. I just realized. Thank you so much, New Austin. Kieran Slays, thank you as well. Daxu, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Alright, let's change up the cap. Start with headgear. I guess we could do that for now. Damn, I still haven't used the para since I fixed the problem with my game. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people suicide themselves just to kill me. I guess it's for bragging rights to say that they killed me. But I see a lot of very silly plays that people will do to go out of their way and kill me. Thank you, Shoppy, for the 2-month resub. Appreciate it.
Be advised your drone has located a bomb. Seconds to insertion.
Because I play so serious.
5 seconds before insertion. The diffuser is now
I'm kind of disappointed that you consider this serious gameplay.
Make your way to its location and defuse it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. Okay, my mistake. I thought you were referring to me. Oh, okay. I didn't get the joke. Sorry. I have a lot of difficulties reading like sarcasm on the internet. Vroom. Dang it.
The diffuser is no longer in your possession.
Saxon, thank you for the sub.
There's one upstairs.
Friendly, last operator standing.
Thank you so much, Saxon. I appreciate it.
All friendlies have been eliminated.
Good try.
Hey, what's up, Nerfy Cat? Granted Dreams, thank you for this. Yeah, what's up? Appreciate it. And Stealthy Panda with the sub as well. Thank you, Stealthy.
Secure the area. Keep the bombs protected.
Dude, this gun's insane. I can't control the recoil. There's not enough recoil for me to control it. I'm literally not even moving my mouse. I'm struggling with the fact that I don't move my mouse at all to control this.
Down to 10 seconds.
I need recoil. I feel like I'm playing Apex with this gun.
5 seconds to insertion. You must protect your bomb. By Op 4.
Dee 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 doo dum dum dum.
You will be detected if you remain in this area.
No. Ha! Look at his face. I got the kill. I got the kill, right? Oh, I didn't get the kill. Hey, it showed the red X. Did you notice how it showed the red X? I didn't know the red X shows up on Suicide. That is new to me.
One Op
I guess
4
I
remaining.
guess I don't kill myself enough to know that. I didn't know that was a thing.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Frostbite Legend, thank you for the sub. Kwandi, thank you for the tier 1. I'll be right back. And make some coffee.
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb. Be advised your drone has located a bomb. Ten seconds. Your drone has found a bomb. 5 seconds before insertion. The diffuser has been secured. You've located a bomb.